Hey everyone, this is Lindy from Love Create Celebrate, and I have got a really simple, awesome DIY for you today. My hallway upstairs has 3 doors that are just those hollow core doors, and I am going to give them a makeover, which I think is going to totally transform this outdated, boring upstairs hallway. I always lean towards a more modern style, and so these doors definitely look outdated for me, but buying 3 new interior doors is so expensive that I'm just going to try and cut into these doors, paint them, and give them a bit of a makeover and see if that makes a big enough difference. So these are our wooden doors. We just took them off, brought them into the shop, and then removed all of the hardware and hinges to start. So my bright idea was to make a door with 5 equally spaced panels on the top, and to do that, I first made 5 equally spaced marks across my door. Our total door height was just under 80 inches, so I put my marks every 16 inches. Do this on both sides of your door, making sure to start from the same side of the door so that the lines line up perfectly. Then use a large level or a straight edge to draw a line between the 2 points across the door. The next step is to saw the 4 lines across the surface of your hollow core door. We have a nice track saw that we used for this. All we did was line up the track saw, clamp it to the table right at the location where we had drawn our line, and then sawed really slightly into the door. Because these doors just have a thin wood veneer and are hollow inside, we really had to be careful not to go too deep into the wood. We only went about a 1/16 into it, but it was enough to see a visible line. If you're not sure how deep to go, my advice would be to start with less and then slowly increase the depth of your blade until you get to a 1/16 of an inch. If you don't have a track saw like this, you could also just clamp a 2x4 to the table and use a circular saw to cut the line, and then your 2x4 will act as a guide for where your saw can cut. If you happen to saw right through the veneer like we did in this tiny spot, the best solution is to fill the whole line with a fast-drying wood putty and then just make a new line slightly above your old line or slightly below it. When you're done all of your cuts, you want to give your entire door a light sand. Now, you really don't have to sand too deep. You don't want to sand off too much of the veneer, and you really want those lines to still pop, but you do need to sand a little bit so that the paint can adhere more easily to the door when you're painting later on. When you're done that side, you may choose to flip your doors over and do the same thing on the other side. We did choose to do that, but I think the doors would look great if you left the other side just blank and painted it as well. The next step is to paint your doors. Before you paint them, you want to make sure to get rid of all of the dust and debris that were left over on the doors. We just used a tack cloth for this, slowly wiping across the surface of the door before we started painting. The paint for this project was provided by Valspar Canada, and I chose to use the color Deep Well, which is a really deep, almost black paint color. When I was painting, I used a small foam brush, just one of those little brushes you get from the dollar store, and used that to fill in all of the lines that we had cut first. And then I used a roller to roll the rest of the door, including the sides and the top and bottom. The door clearly needed a second coat of paint, so once the first coat had dried, I quickly applied a second coat to the surface before I flipped the door over and painted the other side. When the paint is all dry, flip it over, use your tack cloth to clean it off once again, and then give 2 coats of paint to the other side of the door. So just as a reminder, here's what the doors looked like before, and here's what the hallway looks like now. This door makeover made such a huge difference. I actually like my hallway now. The other thing we did was add new matte black handles. The old knobs I just knew would not look very good on this door, and since it was a completely free makeover, I figured we could splurge a little bit and buy some new handles. So what did you guys think of this free door makeover? If you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. And as always, hit that bell so you can be notified of more great DIY and renovation videos. Thanks for watching!